and welcome to a new episode of Battlefield Dev Talks. A special one. Today we're gonna talk about some scenarios where we play as a squad and show off some more advanced tactics and some cool gameplay. So the first one here on Rotterdam, what did we do there?
So we were in the last sector attacking, and we already owned the B flag, so we only had to actually take A, and we moved towards that street where there was a tank lying around that was actually trying to get to us, and we were in that choke point holding near the health crate.
Yeah, I think the tank was in a really good position shelling the objective, right? So I think we took it upon ourselves to do a wide flank and try and take it out.
And I remember I started out as support because I mined that choke point because I was in anticipation of him coming there, seeing us holding it. I swapped to assault later though because I needed more AT in case he did not run into my mines. What did you guys play?
I played as a medic, which is always good to have in a squad because you can revive people much faster, and it's always good to revive people if you die.
And that's how we stayed here, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have failed otherwise.
Yeah, I think all of us died multiple times, and you basically kept us going all the way. And then I think we also did some last-ditch squad revives as well.
Yeah, it was really good because although we had only one medic, the body revive really managed us to actually stay alive in that area and contain the tank in that choke point. It was really key actually to try to keep it here because our team was moving forward on the A point, and that tank would have done a lot of damage if it wasn't for us actually trying to actively hold it in that street.
Yes. And then in the end, they ended up spending a lot of resources trying to get rid of us, right?
Yeah.
You could say the conclusion here really is that we made our team succeed by doing this. We tried to push the other team into making sure our team can succeed on average.
Even if we weren't playing the objectives as you usually should, we helped our team members to play the objective because we were holding off that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were occupying more than the tank. The rest of the team was also in the back trying to help out the tank, but we were doing more damage than them supposedly. So
yeah,
that was really good.
There was a few infantry guys trying to rush our little.
They really had to clear us.
Yes, they really did.
Our make-believe objective, if you will, because we created our own objective, and that's something you should do to succeed. Not only the ones on the UIs are real objectives in this game. Okay, let's go on to the next one then. This one is on Devastation, the second Rotterdam map. We're playing Breakthrough, right? But we're defenders this time. What are we doing here?
I think what we are really trying to do is basically prevent the breakthrough by having the opposing team spend as much resources as possible trying to take the first point.
Right. I think it's worth mentioning that, so in Breakthrough, that first sector is extremely hard to hold, and the goal really as a team is that you want to make sure that you bleed the other team's tickets as much as possible, and you just get them to spend resources. So if your team is holding the other point, you just want to sit around here and just contest the flag as much as possible, just delay them as much as possible.
I think we basically know that this is going to be a losing fight, right?
Yes.
Because they are, and you can actually see that on the flag meter.
I mean,
we're gonna lose this one. We know that, right?
Yeah, eventually. But they're not going to grab my red car. Like that's why we're doing
true.
this.
That was the whole reason for being
I think we fortified the whole area and this pretty good to prevent enemies to get into this area. So there was basically, I think, 2 or 3 chokeholds where they could actually get into us.
Yeah.
And we covered it up pretty good. So whenever they tried to come, we just killed them.
They don't spawn super far away, and they have multiple points they can attack from. So it's really critical to actually try to save us from actually getting backstabbed, for instance, from attackers coming from different directions.
And we're limiting their angles, right? And I know I'm going to die, and I have a medic. I even told you not to revive me because I started as a recon, so we could have a spawn beacon here. Because I placed a spawn beacon behind the sandbag wall, so we had a way to reinforce.
Extra safety.
Yeah, but then I knew I would die because I needed to have something else, either a medic or a support. I believe I'm an MG42 in this one, for instance.
And we were mostly running kits that allow us to have a lot of sustain, so be it a medic or a support so that we can keep on having resupplies, respawns if you want to play scout, and medics to obviously revive, because we are going to die in that choke point a lot, so we need to just get back on feet as soon as possible.
And this, as you can see, it looks like we're getting overrun as well by the enemy constantly, and that's because this point is very vertical. There's like 3 stories, and they're probably on the top one, because that means they could look at the initial entryway for our team. So our team can't really support us here. We're sort of an island.
I think by the point where they actually get the upper side, I mean the upper floor, it's basically lost in that flag. So
then they
you
build it up
really
to-
want to just just stay in the capture area,
Try
kill
to
them as much
hold
as
it
possible.
as long as possible.
Exactly.
But they probably also know that as soon as they leave the flag, we will start recapturing it, right? So they can't just forget about us. They basically need to kill us and the respawn point.
I mean, you can see how much resources they're spending on that flag, because we're still holding A really well. A is not too super far away, so it means that our team is doing the rest of the job while we're trying to do as much as possible in that area.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the conclusion here as well, right? We are trying to make our team succeed by doing something that they might not have done.
We're sacrificing ourselves. for the
Essentially,
greater
our
good.
KD is not going to be great, right? But we're probably going to win this.
My KD was great
We
during
actually,
this one.
we actually have pretty good KD, I'm gonna say.
Of course.
It was the first time it was really
I mean, with all the revives coming in, I think we actually stay alive at a pretty good KD.
yeah.
That is true.
But you always have good KD.
I try.
Is that because you cheat, Florian?
Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one's on Aras. We are actually attacking this time around. It's also breakthrough. We're attacking, I believe, the first point, right? B.
Yes.
And we said, let's go for a defensive play here. Let's bunker this thing up, essentially build it up and then defend it so they can't take it back, so our team can succeed in taking the other point. What's special about this one?
So, I mean, we were already owning that point for quite some time, and we were just missing A before we can move on to the next sector. So we just tried our best to set up base on the B flag and just basically defend so that we can make sure they don't retake the
Yeah,
B
because
flag.
it was doing the JoJo, right? It was
Yes,
like
yes.
we had one, they had one, and we just flipped.
I mean, that's what happens in Breakthrough a lot. Teams tend to just move from one point to another, and if you don't have a few people that actually think, oh, maybe we should just defend while our team is doing the rest of the job, then it tends to just go back and forth forever, and then you lose a lot more resources than you actually shoot on those objectives.
And it was funny because, I mean, it started out pretty low intensity. We built some fortifications, we set up MGEs, we sort of took the point. And then as the enemy team got aware of us, they started sending more and more people in our direction, right?
You can notice by that tree that there's a bunch of them just trying to come, but
Yes.
we're enabling, or we're not really letting them come through over the field. So we're keeping that point fairly well without them being able to flank us in any way, because there's really no way for them to do it.
And at that point, it's really good to hold as well. We have a lot of fortifications around, and we're always more or less safe if we just stay a bit back and we just can pick around every now and then, just make sure we contain multiple angles. I think eventually they just ran around and took the house, which was already a great point to hold.
Yeah.
But we had good revives coming in all the time, so we actually held on forever.
Yeah, and their position is pretty good when they're playing support and snipers, right? So they can trade pretty effectively with us, but that doesn't really matter because we're on the flag and you kept reviving us.
And we had unlimited ammo.
Yes.
Yeah, we had smoke grenades as well to make sure that all revives are always safe. So if you see that your teammate is more or less in the open, you just want to throw a smoke grenade on that guy and get the revive off before anyone can really see where you are going to actually do the revive.
And the breakthrough is a good mode because it's linear, so you know which directions, there might be multiple, but there are probably not more than 2, they're going to come from. So it's fairly easy to just set up shop and say, okay, here, let's defend. They are going to funnel in here. And once they realize, oh, wait, they have this flag, we can't get it. They're going to throw themselves at it, as Zerglings, if you will. That's what we want to stop with the flip-flop, right? That's the whole point here. We want to make sure that it doesn't go back and forth. We want to push the sector. And the best way to do that is actually defensive play.
And again, the more resources they spend, if we actually are spending less resources defending and they're spending a lot more, we know for a fact that our team will have better chances to actually get that other flag.
Yeah.
Which was actually the case.
It's a numbers game. We're 4 people and they have to spend like 10 people in order to retake it, right? So that's a good net result.
Yep. Okay, let's go move on to the next one. This one is about a flank and a tank. A failed flank of ours and a good tank from a good flank from the tank. It's hard to say that. What happened?
Yeah, so I think we were on the barges, trying to be all clever and outflank the enemy. We put down the spawn beacon, but then this light tank shows up and completely wrecks our party. Basically, he had a really good view of our position, and he was just killing us.
Yeah, it was at a point where I switched from being a medic to assault, and I tried to take him from the front, but that failed miserably.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that you spawned on the HQ and flanked him from behind. And as tanks are more vulnerable from behind, both of us attacking this tank was fairly easy. Mm-hmm. But he noticed that you're coming up and basically kills you, but we take him out anyway. And when everything is safe, I come and revive you back.
Yeah. I should probably have. I mean, I damaged the engine clearly because it started burning, but I should have probably gone for the turret.
Yeah.
And then I would have survived. But in the end, it didn't really matter because you were there to save me.
Yeah, and the whole idea is that you sync this up, right? So if you want to kill a tank, no matter if it's a light or a heavy one, you need to sync it with others.
And this is an example why we don't actually run together as a squad. We actually just split off from you guys. So you kept doing whatever you were doing, and we went and.
Well, we were dying. So
this was a quite proactive play because we were trying to retake that B flag. Yeah. Obviously, the first attempt didn't work out, but then when we tried to flank, that tank had a really, really good position, and it was very critical to actually try to take it down. Yeah. So after that it was a bit easier, and our team was probably struggling on A, so it was really, really critical that we tried to get that tank down, then move on to B. Yeah.
Yep. Nice play, Marie.
Thank you.
So this one is the final sector of Harassing Breakthrough, right? I think it's the same match that we played earlier.
Yeah.
This is us essentially going for the win, right? And what does the team normally do here in this situation? They swarm the final objective.
There's only one objective. It's only one place to go to.
Yeah.
So everyone is trying to attack that as quickly as possible.
So my thinking here was, I'm a squad leader, I'm going to stay alive. I'm just going to be over by these Rauk, as we call them, where I'm from, with an MMG, and the combat roll, the spot people when I suppress them. So my team can see them and kill them all. And there's some epic destruction on the house as well, as you can see.
Yes. Kind of a tough position to push from, right? Because it's basically an open field, and then have all this built-up area, and all we have is this rock.
I mean, I went forward already, so the suppression from the MG was really, really useful. Really allowed me to actually get through that field because those people saw me. There was the A barn here, which is like a very critical point. I think everyone is sitting basically in that barn, waiting for us to push anywhere. And I managed to actually get close without really getting shots. So that means my squad was doing some pretty good work there.
But actually, just in those fields, it's quite hard to see the enemies sometimes. So you can lay down there and they won't really see you.
You can literally walk past people you didn't see.
Yeah. So those fields are terrifying.
And if you look at the destruction here, it's pretty clear that this has been pretty heavily contested for a while now.
Yeah. And once the rest of our team moves in, we're actually capturing the flag. We're getting the majority of people in there, and we win the game.
Yeah, and then it's over. And as
we're
you can
best
see,
squad.
Yes, best squad, and it's very close. So you have to push when we have only 50 tickets or so left. Yeah. We have to do this push now, or we're gonna lose.
Yep.
And of course, we're the best squad. That's how it ends. And we should tell the players or the viewers that this is from a regular playtest where everyone's try-harding. We're not scripting this.
Anyone was aware that we were recording videos at all. We're just playing, and they were just playing. And it was hard at times to get some good moments because there's some good people out there.
Yeah, they're trying to make our life miserable. Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one then. This one is a full round actually. We want to show off how we play as a squad. We realize in this one that we sort of have to carry our team to victory. This is also breakthrough as attackers, right? What happened?
So the first sector, I think we moved through it fairly quickly, which was actually quite incredible because the first sector is hard to take given the very high distances between both objectives, and there's the main road that goes all the way to the bridge where defenders spawn there, so it's easy for them to control that area and just prevent us from
and you need to cross that road somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is always quite hard.
And there's some long sightlines too. So this is when we opted for like a double sniper medic plus vehicle sort of setup, which was quite interesting. Bombing runs from a flare gun is a thing. Should try it. It happened like once, but but it sort of worked. But the double sniper is really good because if you miss your headshot, the other sniper is going to kill a guy if you're on point and looking at the same guy.
And then eventually we just moved forward. Next sector was taking the bridge and then taking the farm. We started on the bridge.
The infantry part.
It's a really high concentration point in the sense that so many people. There's a sandbag set up where you can just see heads and shoulders popping from the sandbag. So you have to get close. You have to destroy the sandbags as well. But once you actually lock that point, it's fairly easy to actually keep it and then move towards the farm.
I think this map, especially when the distances are so long and you have these choke points, it's almost more important to stay together than being clever.
Yes.
At times.
And it's tricky to get what your rest of the team wants to do. Because here, in that game more specifically, we were kind of the squad that actually tried to do everything where we say, all right, now we need to take that point. We're going to go for that point, and then we take that point, and then we move to the next one. And in that third sector specifically, we had a lot of back and forth just because of that, and our team was more or less trying to do the same thing as we were doing. So we had to go back multiple times to take the other one, and in the meanwhile, our previous flag we just took was taken again.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, and it's hard to stop that. And this is probably the worst point for that in the whole game. I would say.
There's so much distance. I guess there's like 250 meters or something from point to point. So it's so much time for the defenders to come back and just take that flag back.
It was at one point we went from the farm and trying to advance towards the bridge. And you were a sniper just trying to get people off the bridge, and I was a medic just reviving you like 10 times.
Yeah, I think I died 5-6
maybe?
times, and you revived me every time. It's great for my KD, but...
You should actually take out the medic first in that scenario and not the sniper, because...
Yeah, it is. They didn't kill you, they just killed me.
Yeah.
Which is...
Be careful about spreading that notion.
Yeah. And this map is also special because in the end, the final sector has 3 points you have to take, right, which is pretty hard, and 2 of them are uphill as well, depending on which direction you come from. But if you have a vehicle, like we did, I think, in the end of this, we had a tank. You were in the tank, Jesper, right? We were pushing up the hill. We were taking the first one. We made sure that our whole team followed us. So we had the whole bulk of our team pushing up the hill.
Yeah, once you get into a tank, it's like a moving cover, right? And I noticed Florian was trying to follow me around, and I consciously tried to not steam ahead, just because I wanted to provide some cover to my team.
It was really good. I think there was like some people on the bridge, and they was just behind the tank and just peeking every now and then, and they couldn't really do anything. And then they have to fall back eventually.
It's also good for like a semi-makeshift defense if you have an MMG, because bipoding on the tank is really useful.
That also works.
Actually.
But you need to have your tank driver not move around then.
Yes, you need to talk. Communication, and this is key here. Like communicating in this sort of round is key. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known what to switch to, when to do what, when to go for the spawn beacon. Let's go over there now. They have this, and so on. I think this overall shows a lot of those. And then in the end, pushing up the hill, we essentially have to shift to medic, all of us again, because very intense.
We met a point where there was like so many defenders coming in, and we decided, oh yeah, maybe we should just go full on medic and just try to get some revive pusher, because they were actually focused on that point specifically, and our team was capturing the 2 other flags, so we just had to take 1 flag, and just managing to hold them in that area and then pushing them back managed us to actually clinch the win here.
Yeah, and I remember in the very end we had enough points for a V1. I wanted to like end on the V1 because we were gonna win, but we just missed
I think
the final
we were
second.
just too good, right? That's the
Yeah, I guess that's the answer.
I mean, it's really hard to take a 3 flag sector here.
Yeah. And a V1 is a good way to do it, because then you clear out enemies' stronghold, and then you can push in and take it. But yeah, that was Twisted's deal. Great map, by the way.
Yeah, excellent.
That was it. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for playing. I think this sort of proves that it's way more fun to play with a squad that communicates and does what try the very hardest you can. And we'll see you guys on the battlefield.